Download the AllStar app. Make your picks for UFC fights, challenge your friends, level up and win prizes. Link in description. Get it now. Let's just jump in right into it, man. St. Louis.
Okay.
St. Louis, man.
Let's go.
So what is it like, man?
Amazing. This I guess this will happen when you go and have a good conversation with your boss. You know,
Yeah.
I feel like I walked into Hunter Campbell's office on a mission. Had a few things to check off and checked off every one of them, and it's just I'm excited, bro. Like ready to kick some ass, ready to see family and friends, and just fighting in the arena for the second time in the UFC. Like now I can get the experience, so I'm hyped, man.
Do you feel like this is kind of like a reward from a reward for you from what you have gone through in your UFC career so far?
Ain't it funny? That's what we gotta think, like get in the UFC, fighting the Apex 8 times, and okay, now you get in the arena, like you get rewarded, like ain't the reward fighting in the UFC, making it to this level, being able to fight in arenas? It's a wild to think about, but that's kind of what my career has been in the UFC so far. So yeah, man, I do feel like I earned this. I do feel like it's a coming home, but it's also like a coming out party. Pause. And It's fun. It's gonna be like just exciting fandom.
Mm.
I'm a fan of the sport. So for me, it's just gonna be a great night, man. It's hard to keep your like for me. I like showing emotion whenever, but it's hard to keep everything sometimes focused when it's gonna be so much going on. So I just been preparing myself mentally for that.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be a great moment for you and walking out and all of that stuff. But before we talk about the opponent and the fight, let's rewind back a little bit. Talk about last year. You started off with a finish against Jimmy Flick, and then you went on, a three-fight losing streak, man. And in the UFC, three-fight losing streak is almost like a census to getting your release papers, right? But they give you one more fight. And also they kind of reward you for taking short notice fights as well. You know what I mean? They're like, this dude is exciting. He comes to fight. Let's give him
Yeah.
this prospect. And everybody's like, oh man, this dude is like the next big thing coming out of, I believe, Kazakhstan, right? And you go in there and you show how good you are by taking him out. And
Yeah.
man, how
Yeah.
hard was that? How hard was it to carry that load of a three-fight losing streak and the contract hanging over your head as well?
For me, it was just after my third loss against Estevam, but I had a terrific third round. I almost got him out of there, and I felt there was a 10-8 round where the fight could have been ruled a draw because I literally threw punches from 4 minutes and 55 seconds. When you watch it back, 4 minutes and 55 seconds, I'm throwing punches and I'm throwing it for the rest of the round, like nonstop. And he throws maybe 5 punches the rest of the round, and he's going backwards the whole round and taking shots and not getting takedowns. And so for me, I thought it was a 10-8 round because he did nothing the entire round, and I was had him on his back foot running the whole third round. So I was like, I might get a draw here. I'm not hoping for anything. I just feel like I kicked his ass in third round. He won the first two rounds 10-9. Third round, he did literally nothing but back up and shoot to the floor and get beat up. So after I put on a great third round, I was very disappointed. I felt like, that could have been my last showing in the UFC. And I walked out of that cage knowing that I put everything into that fight. I put everything into camp. I was just really upset with the outcome, given that my opponent had missed weight and he didn't come to fight. He was just kind of like wrestling and used the weight advantage a little bit. But, it was just really just about it's just a tough match in a small octagon against a Brazilian black belt who missed weight, so like it was tough to mentally, like, man, it's no excuses. It's just like you know is what it is. So after I talked to my manager and he said give it a couple days, I'm gonna talk to Mick. And I know everybody in this organization likes you, from the people who work at the door, security. Everybody loves you, Charles. You just gotta win fights. And so I'm gonna talk to Mick, and we'll see what happens. And they had a good conversation. Mick said, he was gonna let me fight out my contract. We get 4 fight contracts for a reason, right? For them type of instances. So I was just blessed. I was thankful for that. So like I was right back in the gym after that fight. I had no injuries, and I was right back in the gym within a week. And so I was already back training, like focused, dedicated, upset, but like how at the outcome, but just focused on like knowing that I could get a call for a fight at any moment, or I could fill in, or I could get a whole camp. I just want to be the best I can be on that last fight. So I was in the gym. So when they pitched me the fight. It was like the last week in November, and they tried to ask for it. For January, right? It was like the very last few days in November. No, it was December. It was like the first week in December. They said January 13th. I was like, that's 3 weeks. Like there's enough time to get on weight. Like I'm training, yeah, but like he been in camp for whoever. Um, I was like, why January 13th? Wasn't they supposed to fight February 3rd? And then I asked my manager, I was like, I take it. I want the fight. I liked it stylistically. When as soon as I saw it, I was like, yeah, this is a fight I love. I like this is gonna be a great fight for me. I just gotta stay away from this and defend this, and yeah, I could win this fight for sure. Um, then they called back and said, all right, we're gonna make it February 3rd. We're gonna keep it the same date. I was like, fuck yeah, February 3rd. I'm gonna be ready for that. So I trained my butt off. No excuses. And I walked in there supremely confident in every ability. And from the first bell, I was throwing punches, and he caught me quick because I was so I wasn't over aggressive. He just timed it. It was a great punch. Like I think I did what I was supposed to do. He did what he was supposed to do. He landed a great punch. And so it was like, I love when fights start like that. It's just like right into a fight. And rest is history. He won the first round, but he didn't do anything after the first 2 minutes, 3 minutes of the fight. I won every moment of the fight like I thought I would. I really believe I would have won 30-27 had he not clipped me in the first. And so I was happy. I was happy, man. It was for them. It felt validated. It felt like everything that I have been working on for the last year, as far as my wrestling, my jujitsu, and just getting straight into action in these 3 round fights in the small apex. I felt like I did myself a great service, and my coach was very proud of me, and my team. They just seen how much I put into it and how much I wanted it. And it was just a great storyline, man. And the UFC blessed me with 50K. What more can you ask for?
For sure, man. It was great. And now you're heading into this fight against Jake Hadley, another like highly touted prospect coming out of Europe. And what do you think of him, man? Just give me a breakdown of what your thoughts on his skill set and all that.
I think for me, I have championship aspirations. I think Jake poses a very similar style to the champion now. So for me, I'm taking this very seriously, as if I'm fighting the champion. I think they fight very similarly, like mentality wise, bully, press forward. They have to be offensive, and they have to be successful offensively. If you're able to counter them and pull them into punches, you can do some things. If you can get them going backwards, you can do some things. And so you just gotta be mindful. And whenever it hits the mat, you have to be on your P's and Q's. So I'm wrestling, I'm doing my jujitsu, and just continuing my working my systems that I'm building myself. And so I'm very excited about this for that reason. I think that him and Pantoja are very similar mold, and I think that he has better boxing. So it's gonna be fun for me fighting a southpaw when I can switch it up and go either way. I think it's gonna be a great fight for me at home.
Hadley, you and him both fought Cody Durden. His last fight was against Cody Durden. When you compare the performances, or when you just look at his performance against Durden, what did you see?
Um, I just saw a very strong guy that Cody was able to do what he wanted to do. Honestly, I feel like Cody was able to do everything he wanted to do outside of the moment where he got his arm caught in the arm bar. The elbow was never quite in a position to finish it. And I felt like the third round, Jake just kind of like either he got tired or whatever happened. He was just hanging on the leg, and he kind of conceded the third round and didn't do much. I think he could have won the fight on the feet, and he was just kind of hanging on the leg the whole third round and just conceding a lot of time and position. So that was pretty awkward to see. I don't know if he was dealing with an injury or had something coming into that. But here we are. I felt like I fought Cody well. Everybody fights Cody well. Everybody catches him in positions, but Cody wins the fights because he's wrestling and he's killing that time, killing the clock. And so I don't take much from it. Cody's good at what he's good at, and at the end of the day, it's a different fight when I go in there with Jake. It's gonna be a different fight, and so it's some things you can take from every fight, but everybody fights differently. So I think that we both fought him tough, but he won. So at the end of the day, it don't really matter. Uh, we didn't. Neither one of us, I feel like, put on our best performances against him, and but that's what Cody Durden does. He does a really good job at that. So, um, I watch that fight and I see things that I can do better. I watch his fight. I see things that I can take advantage of. But at the end of the day, it's been almost a year. We don't know what Jake Hadley we're walking into. So I'm just going into it with an open mind and focused on me, just like last fight.
You always make visits to other gyms during your camp, sometimes outside of camp. Where have you been working? I saw some photos. I think I don't remember exactly where, but you're always trying to get some knowledge.
Yeah, I was down at Fusion X-CEL, and so I was training with head coach Julian Williams. He's a black belt there, and they have Philip Rowe, Mike Davis, Hannah Goldie, Charles Alexander, Lucas Alexander. I'm sorry. I met Mike Perry and I met Lyota Machida, and I trained a little bit with his son. It's amazing. Um, young kid, but great already. And so it's just great, man. It's in Orlando. It was nice weather. It was snowing here in Michigan, so I was there for 2.5 weeks, and that was nice. And it's always great to pop in. Mixed martial arts is meant to be experienced in many different ways, and it's a lot of great minds, a lot of great coaches and philosophy. So everywhere I go, I try to find something that fits me, that sits with me, that I already do well, and put it into my game. Try to find something and just work on that specifically. Trying to learn that ideology a little bit, adapt it to mine, and so it was just nothing but great sessions. A lot of coaches, a lot of bodies to learn from, a lot of guys in the room. So that was great. I'll be doing a lot more cross training down there in Orlando with Fusion XL.
Do you think a lot of fighters, are limiting themselves by just staying in their gym when you got so many gyms that are opening their doors to fighters? Not necessarily UFC fighters, but just all fighters in general. You know what I mean?
I think that it all depends on the leader in the gym. If you have a coach that's constantly learning, constantly adapting, and bringing people in, or has a few coaches that can teach different styles and different things, then you don't really have to go anywhere. You'll have everything under one roof. It's nice to see new bodies and new practice partners, yes, and styles, but there's a time and place for all that, right? And like in camp, you like going to see different bodies and getting feels and work on something that you've been working with your coach, or work on something you've been working here, bring it over here, pull it, see what they don't do that there, so you can see if you can implement it. And that was really cool. So I think for everybody is different. Some people, they need to feel that love, they need to be have an attachment to their coach or their team, and they have a camaraderie there, and they have a family atmosphere where they feel like they don't need to go anywhere. And then some people, they just go different places. And for me, I have the benefit of both. Like, I have a head coach who can't coach full time, so he allows me to go cross train. He allows me to be disciplined, and he allows me to set my schedules, and has confidence and trust in the fact that he knows that I'm working and going and getting what I need to get, whether I'm going into a jiu-jitsu school, whether I'm going to get my wrestling here, I'm going to get boxing here. He has faith that I'm doing everything that I'm supposed to do. And when I step in the gym, as long as I'm there for MMA practice and I'm there, he's happy, and I'm giving it all I got, So I get the best of both worlds. I get that family atmosphere here in Michigan. And when I cross train, everywhere I go, I don't really have any bad, relationships with anywhere. And so I can go anywhere for the most part and learn and just gel right in with whatever gym I head to.
Yeah, Murcielago MMA, man. You guys are a small team, but man, you guys have some fighters, right? You guys have some killers, and they're like guys at the top of the divisions. You know what I mean? Top of the world in the sport, and it's crazy.
Well, we got guys working their way up,
Yeah.
and we got one guy heading to the top 10, and who was number 11, but gonna be top 10 probably really soon. And we got guys who like Chaos Williams, who hungry coming up. You got guys like me who's trying to break into rankings and pave their way through a very competitive weight class. And you got young guys on our team that are just 6-1 pros, 6-0 pros that nobody knows yet. 5-0 pros, nobody knows yet, but they're training with us, and so they'll be getting their opportunities real soon and have to prove and show up for themselves, and have to show up for themselves and prove to themselves that where they want to be, they're going to get there, and so they're going to have that opportunity soon, and they get to bounce and learn from us, which is great. And so my coach, when I first got to the gym, he would always say, we don't have a lot of numbers, but we do numbers, right? And he was just, we're not a big gym, but what we do have, I'm very confident in that. You guys show up. I'm never gonna ask you to do something that I'm not gonna do myself. So we can. It's cool. It's cool to have a small gym. Sometimes I wish we had a few more things, but you just got to learn as a professional what you need to do and when, and how to go get what you need from where you need to get it from, and stay consistent. It's easy to sit at home and just go to one practice a day. You got to literally make a schedule and make work for yourself. And that's the fun part about my job, but that's the part of our job that a lot of guys lack in. You got to make the work for yourself. You got to show up, set that schedule.
So, what are your expectations in this fight against Jake Hadley? I feel like there's something on the line here. Like, if you beat him, like you could possibly get a well-known name in the division, or somebody that's like right on the tip of the 15.
I would like a Tim Elliott. I
Yeah.
would like a Tim Elliott or something in that manner. I feel like I've earned it.
Mhm.
I don't want to go to 15 or 14. I think I deserve a top 12 guy. Like, I really do. I feel like, and so does Cody Durden, in my opinion. Uh, I mean, Muhammad's already paved his way. I just feel like when I go out here and I show up and I perform to the best of my ability, I'm going to leave no doubts where I'm headed. And they love me, man. They're gonna love me, bro, because I don't have boring fights. Even when my fights are boring, I don't have boring fights. And so that's just the nature of how I fight. I fight with style, but I fight technical, and I'm a thinker, and I love breaking other people down, and I love being constantly going, and pushing a pace. And so for me, I'm trying to maximize my lungs, and maximize my time in there and burn you out until you know that you can't beat me. And so for me, I know if I show up and I perform the way I did my last fight, every fight moving forward, there's a high probability that I can get a bonus every time I fight. I just have to show up and continue doing what I'm doing. And I'm just getting better. I'm getting better, more technical, and focused on certain things. And it's hard to say I'm getting better, but I know it. I feel it. I'm strong. I feel stronger in certain positions. I feel more aware. I feel like I'm doing some things more technically. My footwork's better here. I can work on this over here, but this is better, right? So I just, as a martial artist, I'm feeling very strong right now in all of my techniques.
One last thing I want to discuss. You mentioned earlier about Pantoja. You know, I mean, he's. It seems like he's allowing Steve Erceg to get this title shot because Manel Kopp. What do you think? What's that face?
Some bullshit. That's what that face. But now, it's kind of only option he that Mick Maynard had. Pantoja asked for it after Usyk knocked out Mashnell. Mashnell's never had the best chin. He's been knocked down by everybody he fought. I love him. I fuck with him, but that's just what it is. And so it's not like, oh wow, he knocked down Mashnell. Like we've seen him on the cusp of that same thing happening in every fight he's had almost. So for someone to finally just put him down and get the TKO victory, that was not surprising, but it was still a great performance. But I don't think it was title worthy when you have these guys putting on this length of wins, a la Makayev. These guys that are sitting in the top five forever doing what? What are they doing? You got Manel Kopp, you got Kaikar France, you got Albazi just had a throat surgery. Kaikar France that had a concussion for 2 years. Like, what the fuck is going on, right? So, like, these guys got to fight at some point. And I feel like guys are just holding on to numbers and they're making the weight class stagnant. A lot of killers, and I'm fighting all them guys before they get in the rankings. And by the time them old motherfuckers who just sitting there leave, them guys, all of us just gonna replace them, and we already fought each other, so it's gonna be the same situation. Let guys eat, make these guys fight, or give them the fuck out of there. That's the only reason why you see Ursay can fight for a title at 10. That's the only reason why. And you made Figueiredo fight Moreno 4 times, which made Pantoja had to fight everybody else. But guess what? Nobody gives a fuck. He's a champion now. You got to do it again. 5 rounds, not three, 5. Okay? You got to do it again. I don't care if you beat them before, 2 years ago, a year ago. If they're sitting in the rankings, let's go. You don't get to pick, oh, I'm going to go. Well, obviously you do, but I'm going to go to number 10. All right. All right. Well, why don't we just go to unranked guys then? Fuck it. Call Charles. You don't want to see me in 5 rounds, motherfucker. You get what I'm saying? Like, but is that the realm that we're entering? That's what my ideology is like. Is that the realm that we're entering? Like, we can go to 10. Number 10's getting the ranking now, so I just get ranked 10 and I can fight for a title. Fuck it. Let's go. Why
you
not?
you never know, man. You never know. That's what I'm saying. You never know what's gonna happen.
But I'm not gonna bitch about it. I just think that it was perfect timing for Usyk. He walked into the weight class in a special time and place. You got guys Ulanbekov, you got guys Askarov, he just disappeared, right? You got guys that Dvorak went on a 3 fight losing streak. Sumidarji 2 fight losing streak. Still ranked top 15. You got guys. It's just kind of like perfect timing for Usyk. He didn't even have to fight none of these guys. He fought guys on their first and second fight in the UFC. He beat Dvorak. That was great. I mean, but Dvorak hasn't looked that great for a while now. And so, um, and he earned it. He earned it. He had the performances. He earned everything that he's getting. It's not about that. For me, it's about seeing guys get roads that I didn't get. And I'm like, I came in a champion. I came in this. Why didn't I get these opportunities? Why am I getting matched up with this fucking killer, this killer, this killer, this killer, this killer? Yeah, it's cool. I'm gonna have to fight these guys eventually, but I could have been ranked by now and making a different level of money and fighting in big arenas on big cards here by like now. If y'all didn't have me fight in the Apex 7 times against this unranked killer, this unranked killer, this unranked killer, right? So that part of it is kind of on me, kind of not, because I want to fight all the time. But at the end of the day, he earned it, and so it's gonna be very interesting to watch him beat Pantoja because I think he will, and see what happens after that. Hopefully, they don't do a rematch. Hopefully, they give it to Roy Val and they make Pantoja fight Kai Kara France, and then he can fight for the title again. Hopefully, they don't keep doing that with the flyweight weight class. Like every time somebody fights in the flyweight weight class, it's like they automatically afforded a rematch. Like it makes no sense. Like this is the only weight class where guys get a rematch, another rematch. Oh, now I fight somebody else. Rematch, and it just holds up the weight class constantly. No, make these guys in the rankings fight. Fight for the title. Give them opportunities. You know, they got to be healthy. They got to be uninjured, and they got to be able to fight. They just holding up numbers. If they can't do that, bye. Somebody else moving up the ladder. That's where I'm at with it.
Well, May 11th, man, you get your opportunity to move up the ladder. UFC Fight Night, St. Louis. Charles Johnson, Jake Hadley. This is a matchup that a lot of people have been waiting for too. So you know what I mean. It's definitely possible fight of the night. Definitely some performance of the night at least, right?
I hope so, man. Right now, our card is a banger, man. Every fight is like a stand-up fight. Every fight is like banger. Like St. Louis, what's up? Knuckle up. That's how it look like every fight. So I'm like, it's gonna be a tough card to earn a bonus. But if anybody can do it, I think me and Jake can. He's a champion. He pushes a pace. I'm a champion. I push a pace, and we're gonna get right to it. I already know it. So I'm excited about that part of it. And regardless of what happens, I just want to walk out there, have a great performance, and when I leave with the win, be able to celebrate with my family and friends and in a healthy mind. That's it.